Chat, welcome to an emergency live stream talking about some big MLS moves. Huge story tonight. Happened about an hour, maybe in 20 minutes ago, and it caught me by surprise. It was a Sunday night special, and we're going to break it down. Antoine Griezmann going to Orlando City officially. We're going to talk about what it means, read the official reporting by Fabrizio Romano, talk about how he's going to help this team turn things around on their slow start in 2026. Maybe even talk about a coaching possibility for Orlando City that could be that, rumor's been kind of floating around, or maybe a possibility who could be the next manager. So much to talk about, so much to dissect. And I appreciate all you guys here tonight for this emergency episode. I also want to say this emergency episode is presented by, or MLS Moves is presented by FanDuel, our proud sponsor of the channel. Also, guys, if you haven't already, before we get into this, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. It helps us out. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. 65% of the people who watch our channel are not subscribed. So make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell notification so you don't miss any of our videos. Okay, so chat is popping off right now. We got a lot of people in here. I'm going to read some of these comments, but let me read this real quick, okay? Let me read this report by Fabrizio Romano. My phone just started blowing up. I was doing some household duties. I was feeding my kid, and then I get this notification. Breaking. Antoine Griezmann to Orlando City. Here we go. When you get the here we go, it's a big deal. Verbal agreement in place for French star to join MLS side. Agreement on deal for July 2026. Free transfer from Atlético Madrid. After deal for March rejected. Agreement done for the summer. Griezmann will travel this week to the United States, as Marca reported. All set. Here we go. So this is going to happen, right? It looks like it's going to happen. I'm going to read the second report, too, that Fabrizio put out. But there was the early report a couple weeks ago. We did a live stream talking about this with John Rollins from Loud and Proud. And we talked about what this would mean for Orlando City and if it was going to happen. And then it was scorching hot at that point. Like it looked like it was everything was done except a pen to paper, right? But then I guess Griezmann got cold feet, didn't want to leave Atletico Madrid in the middle of the season, or not even really the middle of the season. It's more like 80% of the way through the season at this point for Atletico Madrid, right? He didn't want to leave them high and dry. So he decided to stay for the rest of the season. Well, when that happened, I honestly thought that this was going to be another situation where he pulled the rug from under the team, Orlando City this time, from coming over, right? Because he did this with LAFC a couple times in the last couple years, which led LAFC to move off of pursuing him and ended up signing Son Heung-min instead of Antoine Griezmann. And they even they saved that 7 number from at LAFC for Antoine Griezmann, but he never took it, so it's Son Heung-min's. So I was just skeptical because I thought this was going to be another situation like that. I didn't know if he was going to actually ever come to MLS. Now, all the signs had been there that he wanted to come to America. We all know that he is a huge sports fan. He loves the NBA. He loves MLB. I think he loves the NFL. he is infatuated with American culture and he is always over here, especially when it comes to time off, like in the summertime. So he loves America. So all the signs pointed to him being a player of MLS, but the question was when it was going to happen, who was he going to be with? So he's been rumored here for a long time, right? But it's just like we've been duped so many times. Like, when was it going to actually happen? Okay. So let me read this second report or the second post by Fabrizio. Then I want to get the chat involved. I want to get you all involved and see what you guys think. Fabrizio also posted Antoine Griezmann expected to sign a 2-year deal at Orlando City. Orlando City will offer their number 7 shirt to Antoine Griezmann. He can sign the contract this week, and he is going to go to MLS or come to Orlando this week. And he is going to officially sign the deal. And I was talking to someone who's kind of involved, talking about this deal a couple times. And I talked to this person. I said, I can't tell you who it is, but I was texting back and forth with this person who's very, very close to this. And I asked them, I said, are you guys going to keep pursuing Griezmann because he didn't sign now? And they said, yes, they were going to keep pursuing him even though he hadn't signed and, there looked like the deal could be in jeopardy. And I asked him, I said, are you, is there any other player that you're going to pursue? Like, is this player or that player? Like, is there anyone else? And they said, no, we're all in on Griezmann. This person close to that. So they were all in and they got him. And I also want to talk about the coaching situation because that matters too, right? Antoine Griezmann doesn't have a coach right now at Orlando City. They have an interim coach. So we're going to talk about that as well. Okay, so chat, I want to ask you this. And then I'll give my opinion on it. How do you rate this signing by Orlando City signing Griezmann? How would you rate this signing of Antoine Griezmann going to Orlando City 1 through 10? 1, you don't care. It's a terrible signing. 10, it's perfect. It's a home run. It's out of the park. What would you guys say that you would rank this signing 1 through 10? Let me read some of these comments. Mr. Appreciate you, my friend. Late night, appreciate you staying up with us. If I had to guess where so you guys were talking about Bernardo Silva. We'll talk about him maybe a little bit later. Griezmann to Orlando makes sense. He'll get to be the main man. We'll talk about his stats too at the stats in 2025-2026 season with Atletico Madrid. He's been more of a bench player this year. Cringe says, wow, what a move. For Orlando, I think it is, but we'll see. Let's read some scores. Okay, we got some scores here. Dismiley says 4 out of 10. Amy says 10 out of 10. Missiel says 10 out of 10. Daniel says 10. Cringe 9.5. 2025 MLS Cup champ says 6 out of 10. Cool Will says, I'd say it's an 8 out of 10. Mr. says 9. It's a big deal. Okay. Let's see. 12 Silver says 8. It's great that we're getting more stars spread out through MLS. It is a very important thing. I agree with that 100%. Let's see. Illy, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. 8 out of 10. I live in Orlando, but we have defensive problems. I'm super excited. We'll see what their coaching situation turns out to be down the stretch. Curtis says 8. Galaxy Cool 32 says 8.5 out of 10. So, okay. If he had signed with another club like LAFC or New York City or somewhere like that, it would have been a great signing too. But I probably would have given it, like me personally, like an 8 out of 10. I would have given 8 out of 10. But because it's Orlando, and Orlando obviously is a great place. I mean, I think it's the fastest growing city in Florida. Like, it's not like a dump or anything. It's a great place to live. But it's a smaller market, right? It's not the biggest markets in the United States. Because it's Orlando signing Antoine Griezmann, I would probably give this a 10 out of 10. I think this is about as good of a signing that Orlando City could possibly make, but this is like a dream signing for them. I mean, like I said earlier, when we heard these rumors about Griezmann coming to Major League Soccer, it was always LAFC. It was always Inter Miami. It was never Orlando City, right? So I personally would give this a 10 out of 10 just because of the team he is signing for and how big of an impact it's going to make on the team going forward. And I'm going to be curious to see what he does when he comes here. And I think I'm trying to think if I want to talk about where we would rank this all time in signings, but we might just save that. We might save that for a little bit. Like maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later in the stream. But there's also this elephant in the room where Orlando City doesn't have a manager right now. They don't have, well, they have an interim manager, but they don't have they haven't replaced Oscar Pereira yet. And they're currently one of the worst teams in MLS in 2026. I think they've only won one game, or have they even won a game yet? Let me just double check. Okay, they won last weekend. That's right. They won last weekend against Montreal, and they got smoked by Nashville SC yesterday, 5-0. I mean, they've been horrible this year. I'll share this real quick so you can see their schedule. They've been terrible this year. They've not been a good team. They've lost every game except one, which was Montreal, no draws. So this team is very broken right now. They have no manager. And so Antoine Griezmann's not necessarily walking into the greatest situation. This team has a lot of talent on it, but they're not necessarily walking into the greatest situation at the moment. And now this is just an educated guess. I'm not reporting this. I'm not saying anyone's told me this. This is just my opinion. Okay. Just want to preface that. This is just my opinion. I think Orlando City is going to roll with their interim manager until the summertime. And then I think they're going to go all in on Wilfried Nancy. I think they're going to go all in on Wilfried Nancy, and I think they're going to try to hire him to be their next manager. And he's obviously a French native. But he's I think he was in Montreal for quite a while in Canada. But he's a very good coach in Major League Soccer. He's been very successful in MLS. He obviously had a bad stint with Celtic. I think that this is going to be their number one target, in my opinion, this summer, to be the new full-time manager. And they're going to pair him with Antoine Griezmann, because think about this. Griezmann is not going to make his debut for Orlando City until July. He's not going to play for Orlando City until July. So even though he's going to officially sign, it's going to be a while till he makes his debut. And I think that they're going to have a new manager, and I think that this is going to be the guy they want to hire to pair with him when he makes his debut this summer. So that's going to be interesting, and I think that he'll be able to turn it around, and Wilfried Nancy will have a team like Orlando City where they can really match his ambition, right? And I think Griezmann will thrive under Wilfried Nancy. I think he will be very, very good, and he still has a lot to give, which we'll talk about that in a second. Mr. says, I doubt Griezmann will be the only big name joining MLS this summer. I think he's the tip of the iceberg. I think there's going to be a lot of people who make the move to Major League Soccer in 2026 this summer. After the World Cup, I think it's going to be a lot of different big names that come over here. Will, do you think that this turns out like Giroud to LAFC, a bust? No, I don't think so. I think Griezmann's a better creator. I think he can make things on his own, where Giroud really needs to have service to be effective. So I don't think so. I think he'll be fine with Orlando City. I think that he's really... I would put it like this. I think he's going to be to Orlando City what Thomas Muller is to Vancouver. I think he's going to be a very, very, very high-end supplemental piece that can really help unlock other things and make things around him better. So, I think he's going to be very, very good. Griezmann still has a lot to offer despite his age. He could be very good for a while. I think so as well. According to ESPN sources, Antoine Griezmann, Orlando will sign a 2-year contract but plus a 1-year option. He'll be playing starting in the post-World Cup, which is what we thought, right? One to watch is Raul Jimenez. I think Raul Jimenez would be a good signing for MLS, but I don't know if he would pick coming here over going back to Liga MX. So that is something to keep an eye on. Okay, so let's talk about what Griezmann did, and then I want to finish it off by talking about where we would rank this signing all time. But let's talk about what he's done recently, because I think this is important. I just want to talk about the coaching, because I think that matters, right? I mean, obviously, your manager does matter, right? I mean, who's coaching the team, who's leading you through, that does matter quite a bit. But let's talk about what he's done this year, okay? Antoine Griezmann. Okay, so in 2025, 2026, Antoine Griezmann has made 25 appearances in La Liga for Atlético Madrid. He has 6 goals, 1 assist, and he's averaging about a goal every 152 minutes. Okay. But here's the kicker, right? He's only played 911 minutes in the Liga this year. So he's only essentially played 10 starts worth of minutes in the Liga this year. So he's been a bench player, right? He's not been a starter for Atletico Madrid in 2025, 2026. And then in the Champions League, he's got 11 appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists. He's averaging a goal about every 280 minutes. He's played a lot more minutes. I think he's started most of the Champions League games for Atletico Madrid. Like maybe he's not started all of them, but he started more. I would say he's probably percentage-wise started more Champions League games than he started La Liga games for Atletico Madrid. And then for Copa del Rey, he's played 5 games. He's got 5 goals, and he's played mostly he's started every Copa del Rey game, essentially. So he's played in 42 matches this season across all competitions for Atletico Madrid. He has 13 goals, 4 assists. He's averaging a goal every 148 minutes, and he's played almost 2,000 minutes in all competitions. Which I want to do the quick math on this. Let's see real quick. Just want to average out how many minutes he's played, or how many minutes he's played over all the games. So 1928 divided by 42. So he's played about on average half the game the entire season. He's played an average of 45 minutes every game in 2025, 2026. So he's still been a very good contributor. He's still been pretty good. I think he'll be good for MLS, especially because of the quality drop off, right? We all know La Liga is way better than MLS. It is. It's top 3. It's a top 3 league in the world. So if he's still able to score a goal every 152 minutes in the Liga, I can only imagine we could do an MLS. I mean, he could probably score 20 goals a season and probably 10 to 15 assists. I mean, I think he's very capable of doing that in Major League Soccer. Okay. So I don't think he's washed. I don't think that he's done. I still think that he has several high quality, maybe not several, maybe that's a little too strong. I think he's got at least two very good years in him in MLS. He will turn 35. Let's look this up real quick. I know he'll turn 35 this year. I just don't know. Maybe he already turned 35. Let's see. Wow. Okay. So his birthday was yesterday. He just turned 35. Happy late birthday to Antoine Griezmann. He turned 35 yesterday. So he's 35 years old. So by the time he left MLS, he'd be close to 37 years old unless they pick up his option. So yeah, I mean, I still think he's got some. I think he still has something left in the tank. I still think he's a very high quality player, and like I said, he's good for MLS. He's very good for MLS. Okay, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what he ends up doing in MLS. I'm going to be very, very curious to see. I mean, we'll do some watch alongs and break down what he's done when he makes his debut, whenever that is. Sometime probably in July, I would say, is when he'll make his debut. We'll definitely do a watch along and keep close eye on him. Now, here's the next question I want to ask you guys. This is an important question. Okay, I want you guys to tell me this. Before I ask you this question, though, make sure you guys like this video down below if you haven't already. Let's try to get to 100 likes. I think we're at 27 likes right now. Smash the like button if you guys haven't already. It helps us out with the stream. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, with all the best MLS content. Guys, who else is giving you late night emergency live streams talking about big moves like this, and players from big leagues coming to Major League Soccer, giving you breakdowns, talking about what they've done, what it means for the league? Who else is doing this? Nobody is. So make sure you guys subscribe to us so you don't miss any of our videos, and hit that little bell notification so you always stay up to date on what is going on. Okay, so here's my question. My question for you guys is, where would Griezmann rank all time in MLS signings? Where would he rank all time in MLS signings if he came to MLS? Where would Antoine Griezmann rank all time in MLS signings? If he is coming to MLS, so that is that's definitely happening. I'm trying to see. Okay, I'm just pulling up. Okay, so here's my list. Okay, I'm pulling up my list right now. These are my top five signings of all time in MLS. Now, let me preface this. When these players signed, it's about what they were as far as status, profile, and age coming to Major League Soccer. Obviously, there's been some big names, but it's about what the expectations were when they came here. Okay. So here are my top five signings all time in MLS. I want you to tell me if Griezmann dethrones any of these guys. Okay. All right. So here's my top five. I posted this August 5th, 2025. So this was like 7 months ago, almost 8 months ago. Messi, number 1, Beckham 2, Son Heung-min 3, Rodrigo de Paul 4, Thierry Henry 5. Is Antoine Griezmann better than any of these players? As far as when he came to MLS, like, would he dethrone any of these players to be top 5 signing of all time? He's definitely top 10. That's not even a question. But is he top 5? Is he better than any of these signings? Now, obviously, DePaul hasn't been playing very well in Major League Soccer, but at the time when he came here, he's a World Cup winning starting midfielder, 31 years old, playing on one of the best teams in the world, was a top 15 midfielder at his position at one time, and coming to MLS at that age, that's why he was top 5. That's why he was top 5 at the time. Obviously, he hasn't been good when he came here, but he was very good at Atlético Madrid. Like I said, he was a starting midfielder on a World Cup winning team. Now, if I had to redo this list, I would probably put Griezmann at number 4. Maybe 5. I don't know. I'd probably put Griezmann at number 4, number 5. I would probably take DePaul out of here, and I'd probably put Thierry Henry at number 4, and I would have Griezmann at number 5. Yeah, it was at the time I posted this August 5th. I mean, come on, hindsight's 2020. It was because he was a probably top 10, top 15 midfielder at his position, 31 years old, playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, World Cup winning midfielder, coming to Major League Soccer at 31 years old. That was a big deal at the time. Now, obviously, it hasn't aged well, but this was based on status, profile, age before they played a game. This is solely based on their status, profile, age before they ever played a game in Major League Soccer. So, Mr. says, my top 5 would be Messi, Beckham, Son, Henry, Griezmann. So we're in agreement, right? So that's pretty damn close. That's exactly what I would have now. I would have Messi, Beckham, Son, Henry, Griezmann is my top 5. I think Griezmann's top 5. I think Griezmann is a top 5 signing of all time. Jovinko was good. He's a great player, but the problem was he was a bench player at Juve. Like, he's good. I love Jovinko, but when he came to MLS, he wasn't a hot commodity. He was a bench player for Juventus, and he was young, but like I just don't think that he's not top 5 when he signed. Now, for performance, he was top 5 for sure. Zlatan's not top 5 when he came here because he was 38 years old. He was coming off an ACL injury. Nobody else wanted him. His stock was way down when he signed in MLS. Now, he had one of the best careers in MLS, but when he came here before he played a game, nobody wanted him. He was 38 years old, and he was coming off of a major, major knee injury. I would say Kaká's probably... I'd say he's probably top 10. He's probably top 10. So, but I do think Griezmann will be I think he's top 5 if he signs in MLS, which he has, it's the report. He will be a top 5 player of all time in Major League Soccer signing wise. Like, I don't know what he's going to do for Orlando City, but he will be a top 5 signing of all time. And anytime you sign a player who's considered to be top 5 all time in your league as a signing, that's a huge day. And I believe that this list is going to be, my list could look a whole lot different by the end of this season. After this summer, my list could look a whole lot different after this season, because there's going to be a lot more players coming. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I expect Lewandowski to come over. I expect a couple other players to come over in 2026. I mean, there might even be a couple surprise players that none of us even expect to come to Major League Soccer in 2026. Just because the World Cup bump, like there's going to be all these players that want to move to America. These teams are willing to pay a lot of money to bring them over here, and getting Griezmann early. Like the last time an MLS team came to an agreement this early with a pretty recognizable player was Olivier Giroud 2 years ago when LAFC signed him. But normally these things kind of pick up in the summertime. So getting Griezmann early is a big deal for Orlando City. And I'll be curious to see what he gets paid. I think when he was going to sign with LAFC, Griezmann, he was wanting somewhere close to, I want to say he was wanting somewhere close to 20 million a year, like 20 mil a year. So that was really pricey, right? Obviously, it's very pricey. No one was willing to pay him that. So I'm curious to see where Orlando City ended up paying him. But Orlando City, it paid off. They waited for their guy. They didn't get deterred when he said no 2-3 weeks ago. They signed him. They do have a coach opening up still, but they're able to get their guy, and we're going to see what they do. And I give this signing a 10. I think it's a top 5 signing of all time for MLS. I do think some Orlando City fans are going to be excited to go watch Griezmann play, because how often you get a player of that caliber in your backyard playing? I think before this, Nani was the best player all time in Orlando City when it comes to name and performance, both. I think Griezmann's going to shatter it, and I think he's going to be the best player probably in club history all around. So I think it's going to be really good for MLS. It's going to be really good for Orlando City. And guys, the plan is working. The plan is working. They are signing big name players. They are spreading them out, and they are building, I don't want to say rivalries, but they are giving people reason to watch other teams play. And that is very important. That is a very important thing to do in Major League Soccer to keep elevating this league's status. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens. This summer is going to be great. It's only March, and I can promise you this. We're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about this summer. We're going to be probably doing several live emergency live streams talking about all these signings that they're coming to Major League Soccer and how they're going to change the league. So it's going to be an incredible summer. It's going to be an incredible summer, and this is starting it off. Antoine Griezmann is signing with Orlando City, and it will be made official this week. Guys, I'm excited. It's going to be a great year. Don't forget that MLS Moves was presented to you by FanDuel, proud sponsor of the show. Before you guys head out, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe button. And also make sure you guys hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.